Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jaffin. We are live, boys. And there he is. There he is, glistening.
If there are any gooners watching, you're fucking brave because I am going in today.
All right, and just to be clear, guys, you know these comments are the comments of Flav. These aren't my opinions. I will give my opinion, as I've said on Twitter. I still think Arsenal will go and do it, and my subscribers went down after the live of Flav. So don't just unsubscribe because of him. This is a weekly podcast that you can choose to watch or not. All right.
Look, mate. This is. You should expect no less from me, and I wouldn't if I, you as an Arsenal fan. You have a right. It's called bragging rights. You win bragging rights over the rivals, and it's our time to brag, and it's your time to shut up and take your medicine. Okay. I've done it before. I did it early on in the season when you beat us 3-0. I took my medicine. I didn't say anything. I certainly didn't go on Twitter and start justifying things or complaining about referee conspiracies. Such a weird fan base. Weird.
So, yeah. I mean, we need to get straight into the game. We'll get to that. Lots to enjoy. We have got a lot of unwritten rules. We've got an update on seagulls in trees right at the end of the podcast as well. Right. And what I must say is this podcast is STMA. That's STMA, which of course is subject to midwife arrival. We've got the midwife coming around. See the boy. He's one month old today. Free cheers for Goa. Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray. So if that does happen, then we might have to cut it short. So I'm sure Arsenal fans watching this right now will be going, "Come on, midwife, come on, the midwife, get in so we can calm this down."
Can I read you an exchange that I had this morning on Twitter?
Of course you can. Can I see it? Can I show the people this exchange? I'm on your Twitter.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You haven't shared your stream, so I can't see it. But
okay, I will.
If you go to, you've got to find it though. It's quite difficult.
Go on, why don't you just read it out to me?
All right. So last night I tweeted this. I really hate Arsenal. I feel really good. Some
you tweeted that out last night.
Yeah. I really hate Arsenal. I feel really good. There's nothing sensational about that. Sensational about that. It's completely legitimate.
There it is. I can see it.
Right, and underneath this, a gentleman called FV, he says, "You're fifth." And I said, that is a fact.
It's a good point.
That is a fact. But you lot pussied out of a North London derby and got slumped when you were forced to play it. That is also a fact.
Did you say slumped?
Yep.
Slumped. That's a great word. We talk about the power moves and like those demeaning words and stuff. Slumped. That is good. Slumped. That is good. Cool.
FV replies, "And despite all that, you're still fifth. What a cold world." And I replied, "Your tears are warm." He replies, "Come back to this in a week." And I reply, "I'll have this forever." And then he says, the less said about that better. And I finish it with just simply, "Kiss me."
And that's that you said in the preview, and I use that word loosely because people were like, "Where's the Arsenal fan?" Well, look, I've got a mate who's a Spurs fan. We do a podcast every week. It's an easy effing tap-in, so just shut up.
What was that? What Arsenal fans said? Why do you only speak to a Spurs fan? Is that right?
Someone said to me, and this isn't all Arsenal fans. Do you know what as well? Actually, whilst no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not because I've been biting too much on this stuff recently, so I'm not going to do it. Look, I understand it. You'd like to have an Arsenal fan in there as well, but I'm spinning a lot of plates right now.
So, do you think James has unlimited time to make unlimited videos just to placate every single whim of every fan? Of course he doesn't.
Just
watch the ones you want to watch and don't watch the other ones.
I understand the disappointment at that, but what I would just say is just let me have a tap in. All right? Can I just have one tap in, please? Anyway,
you mustn't react to these things, James. You do whatever you want.
I know I've got to stop that.
I would have been fuming though if you had spoken to an Arsenal fan and not spoken to me.
yeah, fair.
Yeah. No, I'd be like, what's
going on? And then done dream teams with him as well at the same time. That would have really annoyed him. Let's go through some of your tweets because they are interesting. No, we'll dive into the game briefly because last night, I don't know if you remember us having a chat. If you did miss my reaction yesterday, we called Flav live. He described Spurs as worms, then rats, and then called Rob Holding a cretin. So go check that out if you want to. A little treat for the people who stick to the second half of the video. So well done to you. So where are we? Signing off. This is you yesterday then. This is just talk me through the joy that you get to enjoy with a victory like this. 3-0, nearly 4-0. I gave you that offer. I was like, would you take the 4-0?
Yeah.
And not go up? Because that could still happen. You've got the 3. Arsenal fans are waking up to the realisation that they bottled the North London derby. Fucking hell. How old are you? And then when they were forced to play it, they got slumped 3-0. Of course, you just said that one. This might be my finest work. Effing have that, you slags. Let's have these effing cretins. So if you're wondering if it was, if I wasn't quoting you right, there you go. Cretins was clearly at the forefront of your mind. Arteta is a weirdo.
Yeah, so this was on the back of after the game. What?
40 years old.
I'm never going to change. I'm never. Gonna
I
change.
don't want you to.
This is who I am, James.
This is my moment.
Look, it was just his reaction after the game. Look, what he was complaining about was the Rob Holding sending off and the penalty that we got given. Now, what Arsenal fans don't realise is it's better this way. It's better to win unjustly. It's better to get a red card that we didn't deserve.
Right. You would prefer that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not only do you get to win the game, you also they are like rattled all over the place. I watched the reactions, and there's one geezer who goes, there is a conspiracy against Arsenal. Not ironically, he genuinely thinks there is some ulterior motive.
Mate, that nonsense is everywhere. Nonsense is, and I'm not saying, and so that's not exclusive to Arsenal fans. Like, it's honestly everywhere. There's this conspiracy against Liverpool. There's a conspiracy against Chelsea. There's a conspiracy against Man City. It's absolutely everywhere. And I scream it from the rooftops? There's no conspiracy. Grow up.
If you think there is, you're pathetic.
Yeah, if you use the word conspiracy and are trying to do so in a legitimate fashion, you have lost your mind.
You are
lost your mind. Not exclusive to Arsenal fans. All fans who think they've something against us. It blows my mind.
Why would they?
And it was a penalty, and it was a sending off. It's like, and watch the replays. It could not be more blatant. He's gone with his shoulder, like you do in a derby, and you go, I can leave one on him here, and he got caught.
He was all over the place holding. He actually had a nightmare. Like, if I was an Arsenal fan, instead of blaming the ref, I'd be furious at him. Firstly, obviously the barge on Kane, Son, was a yellow card. Yeah. The bit when I don't know if he wanted to just get into Son to disrupt him.
Yeah.
In
my thing, I was like, I think he's been given a message there. And it's weird. It's the wrong message. Or he's thought it up himself, where he's like, I'm going to be touch tight. I'm going to be so tight that he's not going to be able to breathe. I'm going to be really aggressive. And that way he can't turn. We win the ball high, all that stuff. But actually, if Son is in front of you, he can't score. Generally, right? If Son, like I used to say when I played football, if the ball's in front of us, they haven't scored yet. Like, he's dangerous in behind, right?
Yeah.
So what he was doing initially in trying to be on the front foot, fine. But once it's not worked a couple of times, he himself needs to be a bit more switched on and go, okay, let's just be smart here.
The thing is, James, that is the way to play. That is the way to play Son, not as aggressively as Holding did, but make him play with his back to goal.
Yeah, but touch tight is fine.
Yeah, yes.
But not. It's the kick. It was the kicking that was odd.
Well, the thing is that if you're so tight or actually committing to the challenge, it's not difficult for a player of Son's ability to turn you there. Yeah. So he needs to be a couple of feet off and just make Son play. Make him play it back. And he didn't do it. He lost his head. He fouled. His persistent fouling. And then the red card and the game was over. They should be absolutely furious with him. Absolutely furious. Not only that, Gabriel's out with a hamstring, so they're not going to have him if it's a legitimate injury, like one that's
Tomiyasu to the rescue. He's so good, by the way, Tomiyasu.
No, he is really, really
good.
That
the block he did on Kane was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, he's a must.
First half, he's really, really good.
A great signing. And look, Arsenal, to give them any credit, were forced to play a couple of players out of position, but that was it.
Yeah.
They're in. It was a supremely satisfying evening. It could have been more.
Can I just say, Shannon? Is it Shannon Lennon? I want to say it was quite a good comment there. Who went, "You're part of the conspiracy," and that's what they've got. No, that's what they've got. That's what you can do. Go. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I see. You're one of them, aren't you? Yeah, that's really good.
That is good. Well done. Well done.
Mr. K. Dilkins says, "James, mate, is the midwife a slug?" I'll ask her. When she pops down. Pops in.
Yeah, but they can't complain. They shouldn't be complaining about anything. And Arteta's behaviour after the game was petulant. You've got to look at him. You got to think, is he in control? Is he going to be the first one to be sacked next season? Don't know. These are just questions we should ask. I'm too brave enough to ask.
Do you know what's weird? I think he's more likely to get the sack if they get in the Champions League than if they don't.
You mean next season?
Yeah. Because if they get up and then too many games, bomb out of the Champions League, they're in 10th because they're playing on the Sunday and can't cope with it, the squad's not there, then it's like, I met Villas-Boas saying it, I thought it was really clever. I think it might have been this season or last season. Saying with Marseille, like they did so well to get into the Champions League and then got pumped in the Champions League. It's like you've got to do well to then be called rubbish.
Yeah.
That might happen with Arteta.
If it'd be worse in Europa League as well, because it's not an easy competition. You get no plaudits for doing well in it in the early stages. And he's going to have to cope with something that's very difficult. And not only Arsenal will this be difficult for Arsenal in European football. It happens to every team. It's very difficult to compete, and he'll have a different kind of pressure because the expectation from Arsenal fans was low. Very low after the first.
Well, that's it. If you said to Arsenal fans, "Look, I need you to get 6 points against Newcastle and Everton, and you can have Champions League," would you take it? They'd bite your hand off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course.
So there's no need to kind of panic just yet. I've got a couple of super chats I want to get through here just quickly, because the other thing with Rob Holding, a lot of chat about his hair, which has been an absolute triumph, if I'm honest. The hair transplant's just been, very successful. Because there's two roads. You can go Conte, or you can end up going Wayne Rooney with those. It really is luck of the draw. And for Rob, it's been fantastic. So he's already won this season, in my opinion. Jonathan Maudlin says, Holding's transplant gives Spurs Champions League football. If he didn't get it, he would have been slightly faster, so wouldn't have had to foul Son. Thank you for the super chat, Jonathan.
Just say that.
Just flicking over to your tweet here, and actually, because I've got to pick up on this because I just read it as you were chatting there. Craig says, where is it? No, AB goes, chat when your manager gets real hair. You can't do that. Oh, there you go. And then the guy Reese under it go, well, you've got one of your players. And why are we having a go at people with hair transplants? Shame.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not. Makes sense. Head over to Turkey. Why not? Another one. Bunsey D. I have nothing valid to say, so just take my money. Kiss me. Happy days. Power. Is that a power move? Is that a power move?
I think he's calling you a bitch.
Matt Hayes. Thomas Blog. Spurs admin performed better than any player. What did the Spurs admin do? We'll have a look at that in a second.
They're just consistently strong. I think it's one geezer.
He's good, isn't he?
We did a video. I don't know if you'll get a strike, so probably not watch it. But
okay.
They made an entire video basically saying we were ready to play this in January. In
Really?
It is incredible though, isn't it, James? Like, if you think about it, it's like they lied. Let's just break this down a little bit. Just give me this. I think I've earned it.
Off you go.
In January, we were coming to the end of, certainly in England, a global pandemic that had changed our lives for 2 years, and many, many people sadly had perished. And an Arsenal, with just one case of COVID, used that to pull out of a game against Tottenham Hotspur because they were worried about what would happen if they went through with the fixture. They were scared. And after what we saw last night, a good reason. But you cannot use, in good conscience, use a global pandemic to get out of playing a team that you don't want to face. You didn't want to go through it. You cannot do that. But you did. And somehow you managed to, just like how you managed to get into the Premier League get into the first division without actually being good enough to be there back in the day. Henry Norris, read about it. Know your history. You used that to get out of this game. So we were ready. We were waiting. No problem. But you didn't want to. 4 months down the line, you turn up with your full team practically, and we still beat you. Not just beat you, slapped you about, really. It was like beating up a 5-year-old kid. It's easy. And, I'll just go back to when I was on the overlap. And Roy Keane said to me, I said to Roy Keane, I said, they're cowards. They're cowards, Roy. If you was in that dressing room, if you were captain, there's no way you would have bottled that game. And he went, but don't you want to play the best team? Don't you want to play when they're the best? And I said, at that moment, I've got to be honest, I said, no, not really. I want to beat any Arsenal. But he was right. Because this feels so much better. Knowing that you bottled it, you brought your best team, and you still got pumped. That's why I get loads of hate, isn't it? This is the shit like that why people DM me and wish horrible things on me.
The art of the wind-up from Flav there. Really good. Top rattler, says Catherine. Great work. Really good work. Strong. Age of Tetra. Sounds like you guys are co-conspirators. That's it. Conspiracy stuff. Conspiracy and agenda. It's honestly so funny, the agenda stuff. Peter Kelly, it's a good thing it was Kane and Son who scored. Otherwise, Flav wouldn't be able to name the scorers. Very good. Let's laugh at Arsenal, though. Max Ketty. Arsenal are going to have their best season in 5 years. Finish 5th. He's got to go, surely.
I did. He got to go. I mean, how many games? How many games does he have to lose from this point? Now, of course, he doesn't have to go. He's done incredibly well. But the real quiz is next season, whatever happens.
Next season is the real quiz. Interesting.
That's the real quiz. That's the real quiz. Do you think that Arsenal are still going to get top 4?
I think they'll do it. I do.
Are you just saying this because you had a banger of an Arsenal video, like a huge video, and you want to keep the Arsenal fans around?
I'll give you a few reasons. Right. So first of all, I said it months ago, and if you can say something months ago and it comes true, you look really good.
Yeah.
And long time, I think it was in the last international break, I crunched the numbers.
Oh yeah.
And I said, I think Arsenal will get it. I said that the thing that will get in the way for them will be injuries. That has proven to be the case. So I've already won in a way, which is the nice little caveat that allows me to continue to be right, which is what we're all after, really, isn't it? I'm just trying to be correct. That's the aim.
Feels good.
It does feel good. And so I went with Arsenal, so I'm going to stick with Arsenal from that point of view, right? The second thing, and I spoke about this yesterday as well, despite the injuries, it's about clarity. And for Arsenal, they have to play 2 teams that are currently 16th and 14th in the division.
Are Everton safe?
Not yet, but
don't want them to be safe.
By the last game of the season, they should be. They've got Crystal Palace, they've got Brentford, both at home, and then they've got Arsenal away at the Emirates last game of the season. So Arsenal got to go to Newcastle and win, a team that, yes, they've had a real resurgence.
Good team, Newcastle. Good team.
Much better
they
team.
Should be worried.
Sure. But
should be worried about that.
And at home, Newcastle are very, very difficult. But they've got to win that game, and they've got to beat Everton. It's 2 games. They get 6 points. It's theirs. So I think they will still. I think they will still do it.
Can I just say it's not that simple?
Oh, it's not that simple. Go on.
Not that simple. No. Gabriel's out. Rob Holding's out. Ben White's not fit.
Well, he was saved, wasn't he? Ben White's not. He's coming back to fitness.
He's unfit and he's shit.
Okay.
And
I didn't think about that. Oh shit! As well.
Saka looks tired. Played a lot of football. I've asked a lot for his little body. They've asked a lot from
for his little body. Power move there as well. Littered with power moves today, but he would.
I mean, it's really bordering on abuse, isn't it?
To continue to play him.
Child protection needs to look into Arsenal for many reasons, but
give the boy a rest. Imagine if he rested him. Imagine if Arteta rested him now. I think it's Smith Rowe time. I think you play Smith Rowe, you outscore the opposition, you play Cedric right back, you play Tomiyasu and Ben White as your centre backs. Tomiyasu, go win your aerial duels. We know he's good at that.
Who's their left back? They haven't got a left back there.
Tavares will have to play, sadly.
They hate him.
I know they hate him, but he's not as bad. You know, he's been playing first team football for a reason. He's not that bad.
No, it's a funny thing with football fans, isn't it? How they're ready.
Decided he's bad. That's the thing. That's the problem.
And obviously, he's like, do you know what he's having a comment? Actually, like, I wanted to tell you about something my mate said the other day. Okay. I want to talk about it and see what you think. But you need to use Tomiyasu in the centre back positions, and therefore you have to pay Tavares. He's actually good going forward. Like, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
He's quite good.
But this is what I mean. Go at these two teams. Everton might be done by then. Big sigh of relief at home. Emirates, because look, the crowd of Spurs game that mattered as well. And it
Gary
does
Neville
matter.
said it was the best Premier League atmosphere he's seen all season. And our very good mate Thogden, he made a great video. Go and watch it. It's really good. Not now. He did off
just dropped to like 900. Oh, Thogden's got video, is it? Fucking hell, fam.
He said it was the best atmosphere he's seen in the Premier League.
Wow. I mean, it should be, because I think it's the fiercest. I think it's the fiercest derby.
It's the best derby. It's the best derby in the Premier League.
It's good, right?
There is never a
great
boring
spice.
North London derby.
It's got great spice to it. Great needle to it. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm playing on that pitch on Tuesday.
I know you are.
Buzzing for this. Absolutely buzzing for this.
Have you been in the stadium?
No, I've never been there. So
it's good. That'll be a good experience.
I might buy some cheese as well. They still got that?
I don't think they ever did have that. I think it was like a thing that everyone was saying, but it never happened. The backlash was so severe that they didn't put one in. I don't think there is an actual cheese room. There is a brewery, though.
I'm very worried about playing, because big pitch, haven't played 11-side for a long time. My fitness is outrageously woeful because I've been sedentary for the last month specifically.
You went for a run.
I went for one run, and I went for one run, and you tried to call me, and then I was supposed to come back and have dinner. I had to wait 2 hours because I felt sick. and the only kicking I've done recently, sorry to go off topic here, guys, was yesterday. Yesterday I was having a bit of a tough time because when you're tired, you just get a bit irritable. And the boy, bless him, he just didn't like me yesterday, which is fine. That's his opinion. But you know me, I struggle not to be liked. And anyway, so I took him for a walk, and then I was sort of quickly looking at my phone as I walked, and as I was walking, my foot went like this and it kicked something, and I looked down, dead pigeon. I kicked a dead pigeon whilst my boy is crying, and I was just like, fuck off. It was horrible. Anyway, I digress.
I'm so in love with Antonio Conte. It's unreal.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? I was thinking about this. He will leave in a way that makes you hate him forever. And I think you know that.
You got to live in the now, Jim.
I agree. But he will leave in a way that makes you hate him forever. Someone clip that up, because I'm certain of it.
He will demand something that eventually Daniel Levy will not be able to deliver, or not willing to deliver, more to the point. And then he'll just say we're unambitious and leave. Yeah, probably. but you know, there's someone right now. For all of the chat about Antonio Conte wants to leave. It's like that's the narrative around Spurs. Where whoever you talk to, it's like, oh yeah, but Conte doesn't want to be there. It's nonsense, right? If he didn't want to be there, he could leave. He's made more than enough money. He can walk away whenever he wants.
Yeah.
So that's nonsense, right? But actually, some of the talk he's come out of recently was that we want to be like Liverpool. We have to be like Liverpool. It's going to take time, but we can do it. Does that sound like a manager who wants out at the end of his contract?
Don't know, mate.
Don't know.
Your internet's babbling a little bit. don't know if there's anything you can do, but I'm sure it'll come back and it'll be fine. Whilst let me read a couple of super chats, and then we'll probably give. I'll give you a. Oh yeah, you want to ask me that question about your friends thing, and then we'll move on from Arsenal because I've got other bits to talk about. Henry Whitting, Sessegnon pocketed Salah, and Saka underrated player. Okay,
that's a great take.
Yep.
Sessegnon had a really good game.
Sessegnon does look really good. Do you know what he's good at? He's good at coming in nice and narrow to defend the way that you want to defend, and then getting out quickly to whoever's out wide. It's very, very good at that.
He needs time. He's playing within himself. He needs time to just find the form that he had.
Yeah,
such a good, a good teenager. But more to the point, I've got to talk about before we move on Emerson Royale, because we were like, when Doherty got injured, we were like, oh fuck, we've got Emerson Royale, we've got to play him against Liverpool. He was the man of the match. And yesterday he was fantastic. I don't know if you saw when we scored, someone threw a white smoke bomb onto the pitch and he held it up as we celebrated. It's one of the best Tottenham photos that I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's just see if I can find that quickly.
I've tweeted it. So, friend of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, scroll down. There it is.
Yeah, that is sick.
A friend of mine reckons he's 36. He's 5'7", 5'8".
Single.
I don't know if he's single or not. Recently divorced, and he says,
"Well, he's single then, isn't he?"
I think he's thrown his disgusting little digit around. So he reckons if he was allowed,
Sorry. If I don't take this moment, then what do you think? This poor Peter Andre, by the way. We're just have a moment for poor Peter.
What's happened to him?
Man, he's been dragged into some nonsense court case. Rebecca Vardy. I know our American listeners won't understand this, but basically 2 wags Colleen Rooney, Wayne Rooney's wife, and Jamie Vardy's wife are having an argument, and it's gone to court, and it's going to cost them more than they could ever win back. And the defence has dragged it through poor Peter Andre and his member, which is being described as a chipolata through the mud. It's just completely unfair. And Peter's had to respond to the comments, which is completely unfair. So Peter, if you're watching, I'm thinking of you, and I hope you're okay. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's fucking Rooney and fucking Jamie Vardy must be fucking. What are you both doing, you fucking idiots? So yeah, he's 36. He's 5'7". He's in shape now because, like I said, he's throwing a digit around. But he used to be a slightly overweight. He reckons if you had a whole season playing for Manchester City up front without injury, he would score 8 goals for them.
8
goals.
Not non-penalties.
Yes, it's just in normal play. He wouldn't get 8. I'm not sure he would get 8 shots in a season, let alone 8 goals. And I thought he was winding me up. 8, James, don't. I can see in your head. You're thinking, how many would I get?
I don't. The thing is, though,
he wouldn't even have to. But
you just be in the box, just through numbers. No, if you're standing in the box long enough, you get a chance.
There isn't a single centre back that he could outpace. Not a single in the Premier League.
But if it's Man City, it's not about that. You're camped in the other team's half.
So, this is outrageous. You think you don't even know who he is?
No, I don't know who he is. Can he kick a football?
He's a good footballer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably right.
I'd say about you and him are comparable in terms of your talent. So
Rob Turner, spot on. The cutbacks. You basically got to stand on the 6-yard line, wait for the ball to come to you, and kick it.
No,
true, isn't it? Liverpool, no, because they're the red arrows. But Man City, you got the opposition having 11 men behind the ball.
I'll let him know, James. I'll let him know.
I think he's spot on.
He wouldn't. There'll be some. There are some games, James. There are some games of Spurs where Harry Kane in the half had 8 touches. 8 touches, Harry Kane.
Yeah, but that's Spurs. Man City. This is exclusive to Man City. There's utter dominance. Yeah. They have 800 passes a game sometimes. Let us know in the chat how many goals you would score if you're playing up front for Man City in a season. Maybe not 8, but I think you get 6.
No. Listen to this. Gabriel Jesus has scored 8 goals this season.
Yeah, but he's not played it. If he's played 38 games, I think he's played
28.
Okay.
But
West Ham Dan says he scored 20.
A lot of subs.
1,500 people watching right now. If you could hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe. That would be glorious. Thank you very much. Let's move on to non-football chat. Jim's Big Laugh Award. For those of you who don't know and you're new and you're watching for the first time, we have all sorts of bits that revolve around not talking about football, but through the medium of football. So stick around now and you might just bloody enjoy yourself. The first thing that we do is I go through the comments every week, and I have an award called the Jim Big Laugh Award. If you make me laugh out loud as I read the comments, I'll chuck you at the top of the podcast, and here are a few of them. Jack Jones, do you think if a scout found the most talented player in the world, and actually I'm going to write this because I don't want this to affect my CPM. I don't want to get dragged down that road, okay? And I don't want you being served videos with people that you don't want to hear. But do you think if a scout found the most talented player in the world at the age of 15, bear with me.
What is going on, Jim?
Just wait. Do you think if a scout found the most talented player in the world at age 15, but it turned out his name was... or would they still sign him?
Can you not say those words?
I just don't want. I don't want to be associated. And
no, fair enough.
I've just realised I've probably made it worse because James and Flav community page is gonna clip that up.
No, you won't.
But anyway,
what? There's still a view. Because out of context, that is beautiful. That is wonderful, James.
What have I done?
Wonderful.
What have I done?
There's nothing you can do. It's live. You can't even edit it out. Brilliant.
Anyway, what a mare.
Wicked.
So, oh my God, no. Oh no. Anyway, don't matter. So, what do you think? Yeah, do you think you would miss out? Do you think that would really hinder your life, wouldn't it? If you were just like,
if your name was either one of those.
Yeah, because there's a George Savile. Sometimes I think it's a little bit close.
I thought the question was if it was a 15-year-old, one of those two.
So the most talented players in the world, but their name are those two. Would you still sign him, or would you just go, look, from a brand point of view, this is a disaster. I think we're just going to pass. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. It's so out of context, isn't it, as well? Or it's got to be a I don't mind. A caption composition on that could be quite funny.
Photoshopped.
Yeah.
Photoshopped.
Right, next up. The Tottenham. Flav about the right-footed Declan Rice. He's just a left-footed Eric Dyer. Football podcast.
Are you sure he's right-footed? I'm not sure he is.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Prove it to me, and I'll apologise.
There's a Motherwell player called Mugabe, apparently.
Mate, I got attacked by a Motherwell fan the other day on Twitter. Yeah, just saying you are, just something about the most unbearable Tottenham fan ever, which I don't think I am, but Motherwell.
Top three.
Dug out by Motherwell.
So yeah, that made me laugh. Tom Toogood, just checking in. I'm in the middle of taking your guys' advice and rewatching every pod since discovering it a month or so ago. And sometimes I get very confused when I watch these new pods due to the change in jokes. So Tom Toogood, you are too good, mate. We don't deserve you. Thank you for going back to the start. I think in the long run it is for the best. And it's, generally it's evergreen. This pod, I was halfway in, then realised no sign was done to indicate the start or end of football chat. It was a strange emotion of shock, disappointment, then realisation. One for the comments. When have you felt shock, then disappointment, then realisation? We'll read out the best ones next week. Yeah. And another one that made me laugh. James Evans, potential new segment, just a little chat about awkward situations. Now, we've kind of done this before, but I'm happy to go back to it. And actually, the end bit of this is the new niche to the awkward situations that I'll be intrigued to hear from you guys in the comments, please. The idea sprung to mind when I found myself sat in my boxers, completely exposed to the window cleaner. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
I think that's happened to me where I was just sort of like, just walking about, like in my boxers or wherever it might be, and then the window cleaner's there all of a sudden. You go, oh shit. This hellish situation is unavoidable. And what would you do here, Flav? Getting up and leaving shows weakness and insecurity. And the glass prevents any sort of comments that might break the tension. I'm interested to hear what other unavoidable, awkward scenarios are out there. So unavoidable, awkward scenarios that we as people go through. Let us know in the comments below.
Stand up.
Would you just
just
stand up and stare him out, or her out? Can be either.
Yeah, no, they need to go. They need to. If you back down there, you're showing weakness.
Okay. Last week we started off a new thing called Spicy Titles, and I haven't actually looked at this, so let's have a little look, see what is knocking about from yesterday. I did do it at 11:10, so there could be these might work for you, Flav, because they might just be your Spurs one. Spurs are worse than I thought. They finished 6th. It's not a title. Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. I think you tweeted that, did you not, in capital letters?
Only to you, yeah.
Kane confirms he's better than Henry.
He is better than Henry. Statistically.
Will Henry be a footnote? That is the question. Arsenal bottle top 4. I mean, it was the bottle job derby, wasn't it?
I think there's so many bottle jobs. It's actually becoming a bit of a cliche, isn't it?
Yeah, we're running out of space, aren't we?
Basically, anybody who doesn't win a trophy is a bottle job, basically. It's what's got to.
Here's a spicy title. Son better than Salah? Question mark.
Son better than Marney is a question.
I popped in on... Rory was doing a live stream, and that went down that road. And he was going... Everyone was going... I think obviously a lot of Spurs fans were there, so there were a lot of them going, Son is better than Marney. It's a good question. It is a good question.
Is Son... I mean, what would Son do in Klopp's team? What would any of them do in Klopp's team?
So Son... Oh... It's so tight, isn't it?
I think he might even play as a 9.
But Marne's been playing as a 9 and doing really, really well.
Don't you think it's mad that the Son hasn't...
What do we think in the chat, by the way?
No pressure from any clubs about Son. He's just signed a new contract for 4 years. So
yeah. And that's what I found. I found that weird at the time, that he signed at a time when... I mean, what a guy to sign, to be honest, like himself, because he could have gone. Actually, I'm just going to wait here because Kane wants to go, so I might go in a bit.
Yeah, he said this is my home. This is my home. This is where I want to play. It's for him. I think his values. I mean, he's clearly not interested in winning anything because he wouldn't have signed for Spurs. You know, he could have. I'm sure his agent could have got him. I couldn't even tell you who his agent is. There's so little comes out about Son. I know he lives with his dad on his own. He's not got a girlfriend.
Have you seen the documentary on him?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, like how technically brilliant he is, because he just basically...
His dad drilled it into him.
Yeah. That is such a tough question, don't you think? So who would you pick? Let us know in the chat. Who are you going? Just say Marney or Son for me. I'm intrigued to know what canvas it. And do think about it. Don't just pick.
I think what you'll find is that because Marney's won a lot, you have to pick him. But Son's at a disadvantage because he's played up under multiple managers.
The advantage for Son is that he has the recency bias of, and Marney's on fly, but
Marney's
flying. But
there's talk about Marney winning Ballon d'Or, like because he won the African nations, and I think that was when they were in for the quadruple. Now they're just going to win the League Cup. It's not as good.
I think there's different sides to this, right? So I would say, I would say Son is a better...
Who would you prefer?
I think Son is a better footballer. Mane is quite possibly a more effective all-round footballer.
Yeah. He's not a good finisher.
Rory G, 1 week ban. Mane wins trophies, end of. That is not what we're talking about.
That is not what we're talking about. What's his name?
Rory G.
Listen to what we're talking about! Listen, Rory. Fucking listen. Listen to what we're saying. Shut up and watch and listen. That's what you're here for, is to listen. Although we did ask for his opinion.
Yeah.
So that's it.
It wasn't the opinion I wanted.
It wasn't the opinion.
It
wasn't the one we wanted.
If you said for me, who's the better footballer? Probably Son. Who do I want for a season? Oh, if I'm QPR and we've gone up, who do I want? It's Marney. But if I go up, but if it's Man City, and you've got a great team, and you just want another just exquisite player, I think I then pick Son.
I mean, I don't really care.
Okay.
If you ask me to swap Marney for Son, I wouldn't do it, and I guess that's your answer.
Okay.
I love him. It's not just about it's how you just love him. He's just a lovely bloke.
Son.
Lovely bloke.
Oh,
Son,
he's a sneaky little one, though, isn't he? See him have a little look as he went down. Can I see the ref? I mean, he did get walloped, but he did have a quick look at the ref.
Well,
That's all right. I'm okay with that.
You're not allowed to look at the ref to see if he's made the decision.
I don't know.
Well, did you? It was a penalty, yeah.
Yeah, it's a penalty. Yeah. Right. So comments of the week. Brooks, unwritten rule: you have to watch the pod to the very end. Correct. Tyler Norton. Oh, so this is just very quickly off the back of the last 2 weeks of talking about is the quadruple easier than it's ever been to win, which now we don't need to worry about really. Oh well, we leave it a week, it might be different. Tyler Norton. He said, James, he needs one more big player up top, which he's now got. Quick thoughts on Erling Haaland?
I think it sews up the league for 3 or 4 years. I generally do that. I've got a lot of stick for saying that. He's 21. He's going to play. He could play there for 10 years. He's going to get better and better, and he's already top 3 in the world. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I know that there's no rule against it. There's no law against it.
But there should be.
All they've done is buy a player.
Fair point. Should there be a law? Should you get to a certain level of quality as a squad, and then that should be capped?
Too good law. It's a too good law.
Yeah.
We came up with it a while back, and it should be decided by the fans. Said not allowed that one. That's too good.
Yeah.
It's like what? Like if they should. It's like I don't know, man. I mean, part of it's bitterness because I think I'd like all those players and be really.
Yeah,
good.
there's envy there, isn't there?
It's definitely envious. But what can you do against it? How do you combat Manchester City if they're just a never-ending juggernaut that just spends money, more and more money until they get everything they want, and it will never stop? It's depressing.
I think that's the crux of it. It's depressing because you want competition. You know, you were talking about the Arsenal Spurs derby being the best derby. The reason it's the best derby is because you're at similar levels, and it's competitive. And that is the best football is competitive. That's why people love the Champions League, because it's competitive. And although I think the Premier League's never been better, you know, if you compare the money in the Premier League, the Premier League's the Man City of football leagues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but no one you'd better to have a league where the advantages are not so severe. And I'm not saying Tottenham would benefit from it as well. We have more advantages than Villa or Norwich I can't complain too much.
But it's a broader problem. The broader problem is the money. The money needs to be distributed more. And you're right. It's almost like a too good clause in terms of how much people can spend. That's the problem.
That one's too good. That player's too good. Should be allowed.
The too good thing.
And the thing is, they've got him for so cheap because that
amazing deal, isn't it?
I mean, it was whoever bought him would have paid the same amount of money. It's not like they've done well.
There needs to be something done with the agent fees as well, because that's money out of the game.
What is the agent fee on it?
I don't know the total of it, but I've seen all sorts. I've seen it's like a bizarre amount of million. Like, it's frightening. Because what will happen? It will get to the point that then an agent will buy a football club, and they will, take them to the top. I mean, it's kind of happened with Wolves already. Which, I mean, I guess what's wrong with that, maybe you could say, but I don't know. It just all feels a bit minging, doesn't it? If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can predict the next
43 million agent fees. 43 million.
Unbelievable. If you can predict the next Premier League before the season before has even started, and you get it right, that's a problem. Do you know what I mean?
And with the amount of money that's there, it doesn't need to be like that. Actually, you could sculpt it into being better and better and better, and also the leagues below being better and better and better as well. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Tyler Norton, he needs one more player top. He spent 1.5 billion on his squad, including 100 million on an attacking player last year. It's always one more, isn't it? We were talking about how Klopp is now clear of Pep. Sean Levitt, I just thought this was a good comment. Klopp turns water into wine. Pep just drinks it. Drinks it all.
What credit are we going to give Pep Guardiola when he wins the league, or when he wins the Champions League? What do you give him?
You go to him. You go. Pep. Finally, Jesus.
You go, Pep. You've done what everyone thought you was going to do because of what you've got.
I heard a Man City fan on the radio. And to her credit, she went, he has no excuses now. Now you've got Haaland. That is it. That's an unwritten rule, which we're about to get into. New unwritten rule. No excuses. Well, yeah, you cannot excuse Man City winning any trophy now. I was it's enough. Already at that stage, even before Haaland came. You must win. Man City you cannot be excused anything when it comes to on-pitch matters.
Anything but a win in everything they play
is unacceptable.
Is unacceptable now. Yeah. That's the pressure.
Robbie O'Mahony. James saying Klopp hasn't done well in the league is utter madness. Klopp's Liverpool have gotten unbelievable points tallies. I replied underneath.
Your mum.
But he ain't won nothing.
They won nothing.
Okay, one. He has won. What has he won? Just one. I mean, but yeah. Anyway.
I did like Pep's salty, sort of nice sort of bit of, what would you call it?
Finally.
He just went,
chucked it in there, didn't he, quietly, in a very soft tone. So he was like, hang on a minute. He's just throwing some shade there.
Yeah. Just one Premier League title in the last 30 years, is it? The problem is
who's he been watching? What football YouTube has Pep been watching? Took a break from Tifo, did he? No, decided to watch something else.
Jim, the problem is, while this is depressing, is that Liverpool inevitably will fall away because football is cyclical.
Because it's exhausting, isn't it, for them? Yeah.
Yeah, they will fall away. It might happen in 1 year. It might happen in 4 years, or whatever. When it happens, Man City will be the ever-present, and it will never change. They will just swap out rivals. Whoever's going for the Premier League, they'll just swap them out. All right, Liverpool eventually have given up the ghost.
Yeah.
Now, and whoever challenges will be the rival next. Then another one.
What you've got, I know, we're having a go at Pep, but like, what you've got to hope is that when he goes and the next guy comes in, there's a massive drop off. That's what we've got to hope.
There will be an inevitable drop off because he's such a good manager, but it's nothing that can't be solved by chucking loads of money at it.
And that's the world we live in. Sam Cheeseman. Not sure if this has been covered on Jaffin, as it seems a very Jaffin topic, but a friend and I were talking about who within a derby is the goodie and who is the baddie. For instance, Aston Villa are the goodies and Birmingham City are the baddies, apparently. Newcastle are the goodies and Sunderland are the baddies.
I get it. I get it 100%. I don't agree with that. Like Rangers and Celtic, Rangers are 100% the baddies.
Okay. We'd be interested to know your perception of some derbies in terms of goodie and baddie status, and I think that's a good one for the comments. So, who are the goodies and who are the baddies in certain rivalries and situations, and why? Let us know in the comments.
I would have always thought that Tottenham were the goodies, but we are loathed. I think Tottenham, for some reason, might be the most hated club in the Premier League. Everyone hates us. What have we done?
What have you won?
Lee Judges says it's our smugness without having any due course to be smug. Right? We haven't won anything. Act like we've won everything. Is that a fair perception? Because I don't see it. I'm not like that. But is that a fair perception? I don't think I am anyway.
I would say I wouldn't totally agree with that. But I would. And Sam, the originator of the Samism from United People's TV, he says Arteta's got to go, isn't he? He's in the chat right now. Hope you're well, mate. Sam is interviewing Graham Hunter, the Spanish dude. Well, he's not Spanish, he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Spanish correspondent
About
De Jong on his channel. So go check that out. Make sure you
talking about Sam Peoples.
Sam the People's, yeah. People's person.
People's person.
What was I going to say? Yeah. So are you smug? Is there a smugness? There's a defiance that can be a bit exhausting.
Okay.
I would say.
What would it explain?
You're sort of defiantly big, despite not winning anything, and you are a big club, despite not winning anything, which is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, we don't have to sing songs about being massive. We are massive. Why is that? It's a good point, actually. Why we haven't won nothing, right?
Why do you continue to be huge? What is that?
What is it about Tottenham that's so massive? So it's. I think the relevancy of a football club, if you want, it's a horrible word, right? But it is how other clubs think about you, and when every other club in London sees you as their main rival, you can't help but be massive. We're living in your heads all year. Every single time the fixture list come out, Chelsea, West Ham, Arsenal fans, when are we playing Spurs?
Do you know what it is? It's because Spurs fans somehow are able to recalibrate incredibly well. And what I mean by that is that Spurs screw up every good opportunity that they have year after year after year after year, every single year. Yet within 4 weeks, at a push, you're back to going, we're massive. And I think it's that. Your ability to recalibrate.
Yeah, I like that. I you know what I've found over the years is being able to find ways of convincing myself and people and I find a convincing argument that regardless of the position, we're always bigger, better than Arsenal, even when we're at our worst, because we just shift the narratives around to suit us.
Yeah,
can't lose.
Leicester, Alfie Thomas says Leicester win more.
Yeah, Leicester hate us. Leicester loathe us.
Yeah, I bet. Right, unwritten rules. And I've got finished with the Seagull chat. If you don't understand that, then I can't help you, I'm afraid. Unwritten rules. Joe, Alex, unwritten rule. Playing advantage is the best thing a referee can possibly do. It's true, isn't it?
That's a great... I love these. We like these. There's a list of them on Twitter, I think, on the James and Flav community page.
Yeah.
And every single one of them is spot on. But essentially, we're describing football in a nutshell, and they're beautifully accurate.
Yes, I agree. If everyone could go and follow Jaffin Twitter page for me, that would be wonderful, because he does a lot of good work, and he's a bloody good egg.
Good job.
He does, and it's funny stuff. Oh, he's done it already. You fuck.
Done it already. That's amazing. Where is it?
Look, I'm not screenshotting. Before that, he tweeted, "I'm not screenshotting it. I care about Jim's career. We're better than that." A few minutes later, 4 minutes later, 4 minutes later, mate. Come on.
He has thrown you under the bus, hasn't he?
Yeah, fair play. Look, I did write it.
It was your realisation when you realised you'd made it worse. By trying to make it better, you made it worse.
So, yeah, playing advantage is the best thing a referee can possibly do. Well done, Joe Alex. It's a good unwritten rule. It's true. This got 340 likes. Shit. Huge. Make sure you like the things you think are impressive and need to be read out next week. No matter the difficulty or distance from the goalkeeper, all headed back passes must be greeted with a round of applause.
Yes, 100%.
That's bang on, isn't it?
I think we might have had that one before.
Oh, really? Daniel Burgess replied saying, and any chested ones get a four as well. That's true.
Very true.
Kelfler Sunt, unwritten rule. When two legends from opposing teams meet, they must handshake and engage in an exchange of forced, over-the-top friendly banter and respect. If you really want to play by the unwritten rule book, it's one hand on the shoulder of the opponent and one hand covering the mouth. So much covering the mouth now. There's literally there's a before that and there's an after that, isn't there? You know, obviously, you know, with the grain of footage sometimes, like, oh, this is from the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. But in the modern era, in the HD era, there's before that and after that, isn't there?
Yeah. It's like, Michael Taylor's a child molester. Couldn't hear it. So what did I say?
I heard it. I can lip read it. I heard it.
I didn't say anything. I just one.
Normally, when you say stuff like that, I go allegedly, and it's funny. I'm not even saying that. That's not true. Okay.
Well, I didn't say anything.
I heard it.
I had my hand over my mouth. The
What? So if you shout something incredibly loud on a podcast, but if you got your hand over your mouth, it doesn't count.
Can't prove it. You can't prove it.
I'm wrong.
You can't prove what's being said.
Okay.
Kane doesn't need to do it. There's no one can lip read Harry Kane. Someone needs to tell him.
I think you just said Snapchat. It's a long joke. You probably don't know that, I'm afraid. Become a patron if you want to learn that joke. And become a patron in general. Links in the description. Lawmere Cats. Unwritten rule. At a home game, when an opposition player is running to try and reach a ball that's going out of play, everyone goes, ooh, as it goes out. However, this quickly changes to a concerned, ooh, and a load of mumbling if the player somehow reaches it, and then a deafening silence if they go on to score or provide an assist with distant roar of away fans. As an away fan, these are also the best goals in my opinion. That is true.
Yeah.
Last one. Norman Declare. Great name. Norman. There's not many Normans anymore, is there?
No. Do you know how many people fucking tagged me in that?
Gary Lineker thing, yeah. You might as well go for it, mate.
30 grand. My name's not actually Gary, though. It's Gareth. So.
It's not a day's work for you these days. Unwritten rule. If you've placed the ball on the ground for a free kick, even in your own half, and someone as much as slightly grazes the ball, you have to pick it up, spin it backwards between your hands, and place the ball on the ground all over again. I would disagree with that. What I would say, in open play, if you get a free kick, generally, if you're going to generally take it quick, and it doesn't matter where it needs to be put, you must always throw it and with backspin. I think that's just a general unwritten rule that you must do. Because putting it down like that, putting it down like this, just doesn't look as good as that. Little spin back. Nice little bit of flair on that. Right, we finish off with Seagull news. It's been a while. But this is a good comment from OJ. Don't think it's OJ Simpson. Oh, no. Actually, well, watch it if you want. Get him on the pod.
He's innocent. Literally, it was a big trial. He was innocent.
yeah, everyone saw it. Yeah, not guilty, he said. So,
so
speaking of Normans, I watched a documentary I watched a documentary on a stand-up called Norm MacDonald.
Okay.
And it's really what if you want a documentary to watch, because obviously I'm doing night shifts with the boy at the moment a lot. If you want to watch a good documentary about stand-up, it's called Norm MacDonald Had a Secret, I think it's called. It's very interesting. I won't spoil it for you. But he did Saturday Night Live, and one of his thing was he'd do this like news report thing for Saturday Night Live, and one of the clips that they showed was like, there's like a big picture of OJ Simpson. So it goes, so it turns out you can murder people in California. Like, he did that on Saturday Night Live. So wow. You'll know his face if you look for Norm MacDonald. You'd know his face, and he was quite an interesting person. Anyway, update on Seagull in a tree. So it's been a long-standing thing that you will never see a seagull in a tree, and we have a development on this.
Okay.
Hi lads, long-time listener since the Ball Street days. Thank you, mate. First time contributing slug. First time. At uni the other morning, they had a bird watching tour on the campus. The missus thought it'd be a good thing to go to. So we went along. At the start of the tour, I mentioned to the missus, I wonder if he knows about seagulls in trees. Which she sniggered and said, why don't you ask him? I thought when the opportunity arose and seagulls were mentioned, I'd bring it up. About 30 minutes into a 45-minute tour, a seagull was spotted. I felt brave. I asked the bird-watching expert, brackets, the lecturer into birds guiding the tour. This might be a random question, but do you ever get seagulls in trees? Silence in the group. Several other of the bird enthusiasts looked at me in shock before one exclaimed, oh, that is pretty rare. The tour guide said it is possible to see a seagull in a tree.
Wow.
However, it's rare, and the tree must be bare of leaves, just empty branches. My heart raced, and I smiled with a tear in my eye, knowing the truth had finally been revealed. Next, I quickly smirked at the missus, who for weeks has been claiming she'd seen seagulls, However, no wooden spoon to picture proof it. The bird expert also said to be respectful to bird watchers, their rightful names are just gulls.
Correct.
Due to there being so many different species of them. This then sparked a 5-minute long discussion between the bird watchers on the tour about the migration patterns of gulls and how they are diminishing species within the UK. Despite seeing them all the time blame climate change, apparently.
They are wankers.
Are they? Having virtually no birding experience prior to this tour, I'm glad to have finally found some more information about gulls and their chances of being found in trees. I hope that's enlightened you all as much as it did me. Love the pod, lads. Keep up the great work. Up the slugs and only forwards. Thank you very much. OJ.
Thank you, mate. I think the bird guy was just placating you. We all know it's not true. You can't. There's no one has ever seen a seagull in a tree ever.
Yeah, and taken that picture with a spoon to ensure that it's not been photoshopped. Which of course you could Photoshop the spoon.
Standing on another seagull as it flew through the air. Seen that.
Bombshell, Catherine's dad, is a proper bird watcher, and thus, according to Flav, is a wanker. What a shame.
No. Seagulls are wankers, not bird watchers. I love birds.
Right.
I've got a bird box outside my... I'm not having that.
Good to clear it up. I'm pleased to clear it up. So I think now the important thing is we must...
James,
sorry, go on.
I've got a nesting bird box just outside my front door, and there's 2 blue tits in there, flying in and out all the time.
Lovely. I'm pleased. As you pointed there, I thought you were going to say there was a bird box in the house, and that would have been stupidly weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
So that is a relief. So I think the new crusade for us is to, when we see reports with seagulls, let them know that actually it's just gulls, please. Which makes a neater title, so it would be better for everyone involved. So there you have it, guys. Thank you for joining us. That was, as the title says, a smug Tottenham fan reviewing the North London derby.
Boys making all the noise everywhere we go. Have that, you smelly little gooners.
If you enjoyed this and you want essentially a second podcast, we've got 70 mailbag podcasts that you can enjoy where we talk about pretty much anything, actually.
And they're evergreen.
And they really are evergreen. We essentially review the YouTube world, don't we? A lot of the time.
70 hours. 70 hours, all for the price of a London pint.
A London pint. Probably less than that, to be honest. These days.
There's less than a London pint, yeah.
Just $4. Links in the description. If you don't do it, of course, don't. But just bloody enjoy yourselves, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
I love you all.
Even the Gooners?